Shakakapow. Shakakapow. Pow pow. Chickity bang bang boom. So, pew pew. Shakakapow. Woody, meow, meow, back at the bang boom. Oh, Spider-Man, 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 Shakapow, bang, boom, rough a duff duff, roughy, Sneaky, oh, it's shadow, uh-oh. Oh, hello, Mooney nighty, Mooney fighty.
Oh, it's just you. Hey, have you seen a Christmas troll lurking around somewhere nearby? No? Okay, well, if you see him, tell him I'm not going to do him anything. I just want my comic books back, and I want him to stop eating my cookies. Yeah, so, Merry Christmas, and welcome to the Shakakapow Christmas calendar. Now, this will be the 10th episode, and I have something very special for you. So, as you all know, this is the only show where we do some Bagabow and some Shakakapow. So, when I was planning today's episode, I thought, okay, Cage, do you want to show them some old Punisher comic books? Or do you want to show them some of the newer stuff? And I thought to myself, it's Christmas. Let's do both. All right. So, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I want to take you down memory lane with me. And this is going to be a very nostalgic episode. So, I want to take you back to 1992, when I was 10 years old and I was running around the vicious streets in Randaberg, exploring, wandering, surviving, and I stumbled into this store back in 1992, and I found this comic book. Now, the store, it was in Dalve, in the old, it's a Kiwi store now. I think it was a bakery. So if some of you guys are from Randaberg, you probably know which store I'm thinking of. Anyway, so I went into this store and I found this exact comic book. Now, this is the one I bought in 1992. And I was way too young to read this. It says here, Serial for Voxne, which means series for adults. And it cost 18 kroners and 50 öre, which is not a lot these days. So yeah, the lady there was really nice. She didn't ask me for ID and she let me buy this. And when I first read this comic book, it blew my mind. It was about this really cool vigilante. His name was Frank Castle, and he had this cool skull on his chest. And unlike Batman, he didn't care. He would shoot bad guys. He would kill bad guys if he had to. He would let them have a taste of their own medicine. So, when you're a certain age and you're exposed to something like this, it kind of might affect you slightly. So, okay. Now this brings us to today's first comic book, which is Capital Punishment in the Epic Collection series. Now, The Epic Collection is Marvel reprinting some of their really cool, popular runs from back then, from whenever. It's some of these comic books in the Epic Collection. They're really hard to get hold of these days, and I love the Epic Collection, and it gives me the opportunity to read up on some of the stuff that we didn't get here, that I missed out on, and it also gives me the chance to read some of the stuff I only had parts of. So yeah, now let's get the obvious stuff out of the way. So first of all, there are different stories here, but we are taking a look at the main one, which is like this chunk here. And our story was written by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning, and the illustrations are by Dougie Braithwaite. And I love the illustrations in this one. It's perfect for this story. And we're going to come back to more what this story is about. So I want to show you something else. So after I bought my first Punisher comic book, these are I would go into the store every month, and I would try to buy the Punisher comic book for that month. And sometimes the people working in the store would say, "Hey kid, you're too young, so you can't buy this." So then I would go into the next store and I would try again. Or I would come back to the same store a different day when someone else was at work. Yeah, and these are the ones I bought back then of the comic book we are reviewing today. The story was called Eurohit when it came out back then. And in Norway, it was called Euro Punisher. And funny thing, when this came out, it came out in 1993, and it says here EF Camp. So 1993 and 94 was when the European Union election was going on here in Norway. So this is kind of funny. It was around the same time. All right, now, okay, let's dive into this. So the story here is about Punisher chasing this assassin, Snakebite. And the story takes him out of the States, so he goes, they are all over Europe. We are in England, we are in Germany, we are in Spain. And Snakebite, and not just Snakebite, there are a lot of very cool characters in this one that we get to meet, both on the villain side and also some really cool anti-heroes. Anti-heroes, yeah, vigilantes. And Snakebite is a cool character. He's very cunning, he's very smart, and he kind of reminds me of Joker, but not as crazy as Joker. And this is such a high-octane, adrenaline-packed action comic book. It reminds me of those really cool movies from the 80s, like the Lethal Weapon movies, Die Hard, or perfect example, John Woo's Hard Boiled or The Killers. It's got that cool style, and there's so much cool things, and there are many memorable characters that you will remember a long time after you read the comic book. And like, we get to meet some other guest appearance stars from the Marvel Universe, like Batroc and Tarantula. And I love the action here. I love how the action is illustrated. I really enjoy the fight scenes. I'll show you a little bit more. And when the different characters meet up and fight, it's always really cool here. I'm going to show you just another cool sequence here. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So here we have Tarantula sneaking up on this guard, and he's going to do like a judo chop, and suddenly the guard jumps up and he misses, and he's like, You dodged. Impossible. And then we see that the guard was no ordinary guard. It was Batroc infiltrating the same building. Yeah. And they get into this really epic fight. So yeah, this is a really fun read. There's many cool things, many cool characters. It's got lots of action, cool humor. Yeah, check it out if you like those kind of things. Our second comic book today will be this one. The Punisher Max by Garth Ennis. Now, you cannot say Punisher without saying Garth Ennis. And we did another Garth Ennis comic book here on the show, Caliban, which was a space horror. Garth Ennis has written some of the best Punisher comics ever. And in the Max comics, it was like he first did some Punisher comic books in the normal Marvel universe, and then they made the Max universe, which is, there are no superheroes here. There's nothing supernatural. So, and there are more violence, and it's more, it says here, explicit content. So this was more of a mature version of the Punisher, where he's chasing corrupt government agents. He's going after people that are doing human trafficking. He's taking down mobsters. And this is a 10-part story. And it's really, really good. It's well written. It's got a story that you, like an ongoing story that's come back to some of the same stuff later on. And it's brutal. It's so brutal. It's very violent, and I love it. And if you enjoyed the Netflix Punisher TV show, you probably will like this one, because the TV show was very inspired by the Garth Ennis Punisher Max series. All right, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed our two-part episode, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Take care now.
We're counting down to Christmas. We're spending all of our pay. We're getting so excited. We need a holiday. Don't wanna have no problem.
Money fighty nighty. Bagabow bing. Huh? Money? Money Spidey? Huh? Money Willy? Money Shakakapow. Nighty nighty. Sleepy time.